Everybody, it's Michael from GetFitOver40.com. Today we're going to do a bit of a product review. Nothing super detailed, more or less. This is going to be just my impressions of these two hearing aid products that we're going to take a look at today. They're from Linner Nova. One is called the Nova Lite and one is called the Mercury. And they are over-the-counter, basically earbuds, hearing aids. And again, this is sort of my take on this product after using them for a couple weeks. First off, I want to thank Linner for sending me out the Linner Nova Lites and the Linner Mercury OTC hearing aids for review. Now, I did reach out to them and I told them about my personal hearing loss and how I would like to give their products a try and see if they help me out or not. Now, my hearing loss happened about 20 years ago as a result of some nerve damage to the low frequency nerve in my right ear. Now, if you're not familiar with the nerves in the ears, we have three nerves in each ear. One is for low frequency, one is for mid frequencies, and one is for high, kind of like a speaker system, right? You know, you've got the sub, you got the mid range, and you got the tweeter. Now, because of the nerve damage most likely caused by a virus, I don't really hear low frequencies very well, and it even kind of gets into the mid range because there's an overlap there. Now, what I do hear is more or less of a crunching sound in those lower audio ranges. So normally when you hear bass thumping, sounds nice and deep and full. In my right ear, it just sounds crunchy, like a but I've gotten used to it, to be honest. Now, the human brain does a fantastic job of getting used to these situations. And so for the most part, even without any type of hearing aid, I do pretty well by using my left ear a bit more. So I'll turn my head slightly to the side. And I also use a bit of lip reading to help me figure out what people are saying, especially in like loud surroundings. Or sometimes when you're just outside and it's loud, I'll focus in on their lips and it does help me figure out what they're saying. Now, the two products that Linner sent me are designed to be used a little bit differently from one another, so I'll kind of go over the differences a little bit as we go through this review. Now, the Linner Lites, the Nova Lite here, is essentially an earbud, right? It looks like a traditional earbud if you look at the picture. I will be opening everything up and showing you, by the way. But they can also act as hearing aids on demand. Now, you do get great audio, and personally in my experiences with them, just listening to music, so as an earbud, they sound really good. But then when the music isn't playing, they essentially turn into hearing aids with a bunch of preset audio configurations to help cancel out background noises while enhancing voices. Now, there are 4 presets for different environment settings, and as expected, the Linner Nova Lites connect to your phone via Bluetooth, but can be used on their own as OTC hearing aids, enhancing and amplifying the outside world. By the way, OTC stands for over the counter if you didn't know. Now, one thing I want to point out really quickly here is when you're listening to music, you do have options in the software. So when you stop the music, they'll automatically just sort of focus in on the outside world and become hearing aids just by pausing the music. And they'll use whatever setting you've decided to use for that outside world at that time. Now, you can also essentially have that sound setup go in through your music and EQ your music. I prefer not to have that happen because I like to hear the music as it is, but that is an option in the software. Now, the Linner Mercuries, these guys here, I'll just pop them open for now so you can kind of see them, right? Why not? There you go. So the Linner Mercuries, they do look a lot like traditional hearing aids, you know, the ones your grandma used to wear, but a lot smaller, way less huge behind the ears. They kind of, actually, if you have bigger ears like me, you don't really see them much at all. And then you got this little wire, right, that kind of comes down from them. And then you've got these plugs that go way into your ears. You don't see these plugs at all. So they are fairly discreet. Now, they don't have Bluetooth, so they don't pair with your phone. They are strictly designed to enhance the outside world sounds and do this by adjusting the volume for each ear, along with also having 3 different modes that affect the tone more than anything. Now, the Linner Mercuries have more of a hearing aid look to them, as I was showing you, rather than an earbud style, but they are fairly discreet, hiding behind the ears more or less. Now, in this video, I go into each of these products, so we're going to kind of take a look at them. I'm going to get out of my text here pretty soon, other than when I go over the specifications. And I'll talk about how they work for me in different situations. Now for the most part, I use the Linner Nova Lites when I was in the gym or required audio for my phone, but they can be used either way, as I said already, as an earbud, a dedicated hearing aid, whatever you decide you need at the time. Now I tended to use the Linear Mercuries when I was out and about doing stuff like going for a walk or watching a movie at home. So I kind of decide which one I'd want to use depending on if I'm going to be wanting to listen to music or not. Essentially that was the difference. I do like the way both of them sound as hearing aids. They both do the job quite well. If anything, the Linear Nova Lites have more options and more tone control. Now both of these products do take some getting used to, as the world does sound a lot differently when you're wearing them. It kind of sounds artificial at first, but over time you adapt to the new way the world sounds. Now for sure, both of these products can enhance your hearing and help in a variety of environments, and as a standalone Bluetooth earbud, the Linear Nova Lites also sound really good. As a general rule of thumb, if you want one device that does it all, then go for the Linear Nova Lites, as they are great earbuds with the added ability to enhance real-world audio to help people with hearing deficiencies like me. Now the Linear Mercury OTC hearing aids are exactly what they sound like. Dedicated hearing aids, but with some added circuitry that not only amplifies the outside world, but also cancels out unwanted noises while enhancing what you really need to hear. Now I've made a list of all the specifications and details, and a lot of that's just listed over on the Linner website. But if you want to check it out in one place, real easy to get to, then you can go over to my blog at getfitover40.com. I'll put a link in the description, and you can see the written version of this review. Right, at this point, we're going to kind of take a look at them visually, right? We'll do that first. I'll open the box up as well, I'll show you the box as well. So these guys, right? Okay, we'll get in here a little bit. So essentially what you have is you have your on-off button right here, okay? And then you have your volume up, volume down, and by tapping it different ways, to be honest, I can't remember exactly what it is. I have to try and remember every time I use them because I've been using them both off and on. But you tap these in a certain way. In one way that you tap it, it's going to basically change the tone. By just pressing it quickly up and down, you get volume up, volume down. There's different levels of volume, and you can adjust that independently for each ear. And there's, I can't remember, I think if you double tap it, you get a different sound. So either you double tap it, or you hold on to it for a second and you get a tone change. Now it's unclear in the Linner website, or anywhere for that matter, what that tone, so there's 3 modes, what those modes exactly are. The best I can tell is that they are more of like a tone. They actually, so you're gonna get a little bit brighter sound with each one. So each level of them will enhance the brightness slightly. That's what I found, how they work that way. And you can see here you got your green lights when you open it up. You've got wireless charging on both of these guys, and you have USB-C charging. We'll open the box in a second. So here's the Linear Nova Lites, and as you can see, they're more of a standard earbud, right? And what I like, I'm not even sure if you're going to be able to see this. I might have to close them and open it. Okay, maybe you can see it now. You can see that little light in there? That's really cool. That's like a UV light that sterilizes them, I believe, up to around 99%. So that would be in all the specifications. So these are also wireless charging capable, and these also have USB-C, okay? So that's the case. These are nice and small. I mean, these aren't too big, but you know, as a earbud, you want to be able to cart these around, you know, pretty easily. So that's kind of cool. So we're going to put these. Well, let's just take a quick look. I didn't really go over the buttons, and I'm trying to remember what the buttons do again now. My old brain doesn't always remember. But this top button, it'll turn them, it'll basically, you can pause the sound up and down, essentially does volume up, volume down. And I believe you can also double tap it to answer calls, end calls. But if you're just playing music and you double tap it, the music stops, then you can hear the outside world. If you want to adjust the volume up and down, you can do that. And then for the actual sound types, you're going to have to go into the app, which I'll show in a second here. Okay, let's look in the boxes really quick. It's not too much. I don't really want to make this like an unboxing video. I just want to really get into the meat and potatoes. I mean, there's the box, okay? Boom, box. Inside the box, what do you got? Well, you got manuals and stuff, right? You got a cleaning device, you got your cables, different ways of cleaning things. And you got some extra earbud thingies, right? In case you have different ear sizes you want to try, or you want to change them up at some point. Okay, you don't have an actual wall wart. You're just going to have to use a standard USB wall wart, which is typically the case nowadays. Okay, here's the Nova Lights, as you can see. And it's got a little bit of information on here, right? Feedback suppression, smart in-ear detection, Bluetooth audio, 2-mic environment, noise cancellation. What I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go through the specifications at the end. If you want to hear them, you can stay till the end. If you don't want to hear them, you want to read them, just go over to the website. All right, packaging is really nice on this product. So you can see here 16, what is that? 16 different it's the chip steps. WDRC channel processing helps figure out what each sound is doing, so it can enhance different sounds that are going on. And this is always really hard to do. So you got a little thing here. It shows you how to just basically get the thing working, pairing it, how to adjust the volume up and down, right? Because I was already talking about that. Okay, you got another more kind of full-featured instruction sheet here. Okay, it's going to go over all the stuff that you need to know. All right. Okay, charging, wearing, power on off, hearing enhancements, Bluetooth connections, LED and voice prompt. Anyways, yeah, when you get your pair, you can check it all out. You also get some different foams, right? Different size foams, or whatever you want to call these, the bits that go in your ear. And then you also have, if you're having a trouble with the fit, you've got these little guys that go onto them and hold them in your ears a little bit better. Now I do have to say, I found that they hold in your ears pretty good. And then you also have this really nice thick USB to USB-C cable. Okay, so yeah, they do fit really well. They fit better than a lot of earbuds that I've used. They don't come out very easily. They stay in nicely. They, a lot of times as they work their way out, these earbuds that seal in the ears, you start to lose the bass frequencies. That doesn't happen very often unless for some reason they backed out of my ear, which, like I said, they really don't do that very often. All right, I'm going to pull the Linner Mercuries aside for a second because there is no software that goes along with this. Essentially, I kind of told you what they basically do. We'll go over some of the specifications in a bit. I'm recording audio, as you can see here, but here's the Linner application, and it's already connected to my Nova Lites. You can see that because if you open the box up, they'll pair Bluetooth wise as long as you've selected this, as you've got different selections for different options. You got the Linner Nova, you got the Lite. There's even one, it's a deluxe model. Now that's one thing I do have to say is there's a bunch of products. There's some that aren't even listed on their website that show up in the app. It's very confusing. There's this product called the Linner Deluxe that looks exactly like this. I think it's more about the type of speaker that's in it. I think that has this thing called the MEME, which is the type of speaker magnet. I'm not sure the driver that they use, and that's in the new version. This is a new version as well, this color, and therefore it's a little bit more money than the white version of this. Now I don't know why. Is it just because it's a new color? It's like actually more money. It's $416 versus $347. That's for the light version, which this is. So there's some confusion on the website. It would be nice if they cleared that up and made it more understandable. Another thing that's confusing, I'll just cover it real quick, is these Mercuries have 3 modes, but they don't tell you what those modes do. I had to kind of try and just figure it out and decide for myself what was going on. All right, we'll just kind of go over the app. You can see here, you can adjust the volume of each one independently. So each ear might have a slightly, higher or lower threshold that it hears. So like for instance, my right ear is worse, so I'd probably boost that one up, bring that one down a little bit just to get more of a balance. Now this doesn't adjust the volume of the music. This just does adjust the volume of the outside world. So I want to clarify that. It only adjusts that. Now you can adjust the tone, and again, this tone, I believe, is just for the outside world, okay? So not so much for the music. So there's some differences in what's going on. Then you have these modes down here: dialogue, restaurant, commute, and outdoor. So you can play around with those and figure out which one is working best in your environment or your situation. I kind of like the dialogue one the most. Seems to make the most difference. And you can also adjust a little bit by moving the volume up and down how much of the outside world you're actually hearing. So here with media, you've got mix mode, which disables hearing amplification when Bluetooth audio is streaming. So when you're listening to music, you can turn the outside world off, which is what I've got here. So you don't have to have all this other background noise coming in, which is nice for when you're at the gym. Then you have this audio enhancement option, which applies hearing amplification gain to Bluetooth audio. So again, I was mentioning this basically, essentially what it does is it just makes this EQ that's going on in the outside world apply to the audio you're listening to in terms of music. All right, you got this media EQ, you've got different ways you can EQ it. You know, for me, a default is fine, but if you want to boost the bass, this is just for media, by the way, okay? So you can do different things there. Now, this here Zen is just for some background stuff, but I believe it's locked because I don't have the deluxe. I've just got the light. So this is just to tease you, right? Hey, this is what we got in the app, but you don't get to hear it. So too bad. And then there's this hearing test. Now, I'm not going to go through the hearing test. I did do it. And you can see, I'm not sure if I go here, yeah, see, I'm not going to do it. It doesn't remember the last one. It did show me my results after I did the hearing test. It's a very good hearing test. It goes through each sound, kind of brings it up, goes through different frequencies in each ear, brings it up to the point where you hear it, then it brings it back down till you don't hear it. It does that a few times to find out exactly what you're hearing, goes through a bunch of different frequencies and figures out where your hearing loss is. And it'll show you, and it did show me that my right ear was missing a lot of stuff on the bottom end, which is what I already knew. That said, there's nothing it really does about it. It doesn't apply that to the audio. So it would be nice if when you went to the real world audio, it applied a little bit of lower end enhancement to my right ear because it realizes I don't have lower end enhancement. Basically, you've just got the modes. So you have these modes here, and that's what you get to select. And they are designed to really enhance the world, and they do work. They do make the world sound a little bit artificial, but I can tell you this, it does work. It does enhance what's going on. It just kind of would be nice to have, say, just another mode that takes the hearing loss through the hearing test and applies that to each individual earbud, and just to see what that would sound like. Now we're getting pretty close to 20 minutes here, so I'm not sure if I want to go through the specifications and stuff. I'm just going to quickly kind of summarize some of it real quick here. I've got my written sheet here. So again, there's 4 modes in the Linner Nova Lites for different types of situations. And the point of that is to improve conversation, allow you to hear what people are saying a lot more. You also get hands-free calling. And again, there's the hearing enhancement, 16-channel digital processing. You've got something called beam forming environment noise reduction, which basically it's got mics on both of the hearing aids. So when you look at something and point your head at it, it kind of knows it's in the middle and it enhances what you're pointing your head at. This guy's also capable of increasing the audio up to 42 dB. This is IPX5 water resistant, by the way. It does again have wireless charging, and it does have that antibacterial setup. From when you pop them in the case, it sterilizes them using UV lights. That's kind of the highlights to this guy. Let's really go over some of the highlights to we'll pull this out of the way, to the Mercury. Now the Mercury, by the way, is $416, just like this particular color, and that's Canadian, so it's going to be a little less US. Now this is FDA approved, and I believe these are both FDA approved. And again, with this one, you have a 16-channel processor, which is on both of these, that helps with the processing to pull out the audio and enhance real-world life and just clarify speaking and different things that's going on. Again, noise cancellation on both units. 3 modes that you can use here that mostly affect the tone. Sweat and water resistant again. Long-lasting power, so up to 20 hours here before you need to charge it with wireless charging. This guy will go up to 50 dB. And hopefully I didn't miss anything too important. Again, very interesting product. I'm really glad I had the chance to review this product from Linner. I will be using these off and on for different situations. I'm actually using the Linner Nova Lites over my Samsung Galaxy earbuds because they sound really good. They sound just as good, maybe better, I don't know. I like the fact that they stay in my ears better. Anything that's gonna stay in your ear tighter is gonna just sound better anyways. With my Samsung Galaxy earbuds, they fall out occasionally if they start to loosen up. It's really annoying when you're working out and your earbud pops out of your ear. These guys stay in all the time. There's no problem. And I'm not even using those little clips that go on them if you want them to stay in a little bit better. Been using the Linear Mercuries just sort of more as testing them. My hearing isn't so bad that I need hearing aids all the time. I just thought, hey, maybe this will help. Maybe this will just make the world a little better. And it does, but it does take some getting used to. So for instance, if I'm out on a walk, car drives by and the road's all kind of wet and stuff, you do get like this really loud sound. And especially with both of these guys, if you have the real world sound jacked up, if you walk up the stairs and the floor creaks, it's like, holy crow, it sounds like, you know, someone's hitting it with a sledgehammer. So you really have to dial it in for your personal use and decide when you really need them. But I think they're great products. I'm really glad this product is out there because you're going to save a lot of money, you know, say $400 to $500 or $350 or whatever it is to $500, depending on which product you get, that works a lot like a conventional hearing aid without having to spend thousands of dollars, right? And also these ones are really cool because you can use them as earbuds. All right, that's gonna wrap this up. It's getting long here. Thanks again for watching another GetFitOver40.com video. Don't forget to subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'll put links again to the written review where you can go over all those specifications and details that I kind of skipped over. And I'll put links to buy them or where you can buy them over on the website. All right, thanks again for watching. Until next time, take care.